All right, folks, we'll start in about 2 or 3 minutes here. We'll give it a minute to see if anybody else joins, and then we'll get going.
The only person we had behind that wheel.
All right. Thanks for joining, everybody. We will go ahead and get started. We are recording this tonight for good measure. Before I get started, if somebody could unmute and just make sure they can hear me okay, that would be awesome. Thumbs up. I'll take whatever you got. Anybody confirm they can hear me okay? All right, I'll take the thumbs up. Thank you. All right, so we are going to go through a few things about our club tonight. If you are a current 515 family, you might not get a lot out of this, but you'll know a little bit more about what we're working on. Otherwise, hoping to educate some folks on what we're working on here and what we're all about. So I am going to share my screen here. All right. Hopefully, everybody can see that okay? Again, we are recording this, so if you do need to drop off, it will be available. It will be available later on. We will make sure we post this on YouTube so everybody can see it. All right. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. So again, thank you for joining us tonight. I want to talk a little bit about what we've been working on here. So some of you may not know a lot about us, and that's cool. My name is Bo Schatzberg. I am the founder and one of the coaches of 515 Soccer Academy. We have a team of folks that work with us on a regular basis, and hopefully you'll get a chance to meet some of them soon. We just finished our first season as a club. Been really exciting for us to kind of go through this little experiment this fall. And those of you who are parents of current players, you know exactly what we mean about experiment. I'll talk a little bit about that later. Our mission is to make higher level soccer available to more Central Iowa kids. You can see some of our values here, but really what we were founded out of was a couple of things. One was it shouldn't be super expensive to get higher level professional coaching and really develop as a soccer player. And two, if kids want to play select soccer, we feel like they should be able to. So we believe in one of our experiments that we've gone after this fall is that we can put together competitive select teams without having to have tryouts, without having to have 10, 11-year-old kids get cut from soccer teams, and that we can compete with kids that are playing and paying for a lot more than we are. We've had some ups and downs this fall, but we just finished last weekend our first out-of-state tournament with the club, and we had some really competitive games, especially with our U12 girls team that has just really grown like crazy. So We are a development focused program. We do say we are not playing for trophies now so that we can play for trophies later, if that makes sense. And so we are a select team. It's not a oh, you get to play 50% of the time just being on the team, but we do really focus on finding ways to grow our kids, and that's a big deal for us. Some of the things that we do at the bottom here that just how we win. All of our coaches are D-licensed or better, or on the way to be D-licensed or better. This is a U.S. soccer a license that kind of shows a fundamental understanding for the game and a fundamental understanding of how to coach kids. That's a big deal for us. We do run 3 practice sessions a week. A lot of our kids are multi-sport athletes. They don't necessarily just specialize in soccer. We have dance kids, we have volleyball kids, we have softball kids. We're okay with that. But one of the things that we do offer every week for all of our kids from ages 7 all the way up to ages 14 right now, and that will expand over the next couple of years, is an all club skills night. So every Wednesday night, everybody gets together and works on individual skills, and that's how we get better on the ball, and then give the kids an opportunity 2 other nights a week to get their sessions. We know that not everybody can make 3 nights a week, but that's how we do it. We do have introduced video analysis into our program. Most of our kids aren't really doing a lot of analysis. They just want to see what the cool things they did on the field. That's cool too. Sometimes for me, it's great as well, but it gives us a chance to, as coaches, start analyze how we did, maybe see what we saw on the field differently, maybe see some of the things that we missed. And that came in handy for us a few times in that Kansas City tournament in particular. I know I had to eat a little bit of humble pie when I saw a couple of calls that I thought were wrong on the field. But turned out to be maybe a little more right than I would have liked to have admitted when I watched it on video. And then strong communication from the club. Well, we are big on being professional here. All of our coaches are soccer folks, but they also have day jobs, and we want to make sure that we give you all the best experience we can as parents. So inclusivity, I've talked a little bit about this. We do talent ID sessions, not tryouts. So those of you here tonight who are maybe considering joining us from as a select player now, or maybe an academy kid that would be a select player in the future, we believe that we can be just as good as other clubs without having the stress of kids having to line up and put a number on and go through kind of a stressful analysis, a stressful tryout process. We've heard some horror stories about that. My daughter in particular has been on a couple of those horror stories. It's not fun, even if you make the team. And as a coach who coaches a lot of girls, we can see a lot of the stress on these kids worried about their spot. We're recruiting players, but we're not replacing players. So if there's a kid that wants to join us, and we will absolutely have a conversation if we don't think they're in the right spot, but that's okay, right? We have a couple kids in our program that I was like, oh man, are they a select player? Well, turns out if you pour into them with high-level coaching, you find ways for them to succeed, they will succeed, and they will level up. And we really, really have seen a lot of success there. We are low cost. We believe that we are the lowest cost on this side of town, but we are also very transparent with our financial aid process. So, we know for some folks that even with the cost, going out of town on tournaments and buying uniforms and that stuff, that can add up. I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing to try to lower that cost long term tonight, but we have a very transparent financial aid process. We post directly on our website what you would pay for our program if you have a certain income account or a certain income threshold. You can see exactly how much it would be reduced. We're not paying folks under the table or reducing folks under the table just to get them onto our club. We're very open and even with this. You can see up front if you're considering joining us and saying, oh man, this might be a stretch for us. We absolutely can find ways to go above and beyond if we need to, because we want to make sure everybody can play for us. Again, I mentioned development over trophies, but I would really say this is more, focusing on not winning trophies now so that we can win trophies later, right? We do want to win. We are going to focus on individual and team development. We do have local practices on the east side of town. We are trying to be more in the neighborhood of the folks that are coaching for us or that are playing for us. So you may see us at times split things off or move our practices to be the right fit. and fun, right? This is supposed to be fun. This is not supposed to be a stressful thing. These kids, even if they are playing select, even if they are playing high level, we're focusing on fun even as we are raising the temperature to do more. I will make time for questions at the end, but feel free to at any time throw something in the chat if you do have questions. Want to make sure we address it tonight. So the pathway right now for 515 is really focused on establishing a viable program. Right now, we have, you can see sort of in that select area, our current offerings in green. We have Academy, U9, U10 program. We have a U11, U12 girls team. We have a U13, U14 girls team. And we are trying to build out a boys team for the spring. I'll talk about that a little bit later. When we work this next summer to expand things, we've heard a lot of demand. We are looking to try to have more and more select teams. We are also going to be taking a very serious look next summer at rolling out a rec program for U5, U6, U7, and U8 kids. So we have something that we think is a little unique that we'd like to do there, and kind of make sure that we give younger kids a chance to join our program. But we are very open to kids coming in from other rec programs right now, from other academy programs. And as we talk about the opportunities we have on the select program right now, we are in the middle of the winter. If your kid has signed up for another select program this year, they would be committed to that through the spring. But if we have kids that didn't play in the fall that are playing rec soccer right now or playing academy with another program, we do have openings right now to join, and we can talk more about how that will look. We did talk about doing a November outdoor futsal program. It's really a bummer that it didn't work out because the weather has been amazing this November. Didn't quite get enough interest in that. We are looking to do a holiday camp, and we do have some winter programs available right now. Those of you who's joined us tonight, if you have a kid that's looking for some sessions this winter and haven't signed up for our current program, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook or at info@515soccer.org. We do have a couple spots available that we can make for you yet. It was not an open registration, just to keep numbers down, but we do have a couple spots left if you'd like to join. And then finally, we just say we want to make sure that kids can play at the level they desire. So we have been answering questions on Facebook since we founded our program. And because we don't have necessarily all the teams for everybody, we do have a good relationship with a lot of other clubs right now. We've sent a lot of kids elsewhere. So if you're looking for a spot right now and what you hear tonight sounds great, but maybe isn't quite right for you, happy to have a conversation with you and help you direct you into the right place. That's really important to us, that kids have a place to play. And maybe a year or two, you'll come back and we'll be the right fit for you at that time. Talked a little bit about how we do this earlier, but again, we do talent ID sessions, not tryouts. So if you come to us here and you I'm going to go ahead and do this, and you join us this winter, right? You're joining us because you think this is the right thing for you. We'd absolutely love to have you come to a winter session or two and try us out, but we're not going to turn you away, right? So if you want to join us, you want to come play for us, we will absolutely find the right spot for you. We don't think excluding a 10-year-old from a select team because of a performance in one 60-minute session makes sense. And so we are really big on being inclusive here. And we've seen a lot of growth this fall from some kids that may not have gotten a look at a tryout last year, but as of this spring, when they show up again, we know that those other clubs are going to notice them after we've had a year with them. So really excited about the development we've had there. Let's see if I can hit this. There we go. Talked a little bit about skills nights. That's a lot of fun. We do offer these club-wide, focusing on individual skills available to players of all ages. This is a little different practice. Those of you who've seen it, it looks like chaos sometimes. It feels like chaos sometimes. You can see in this picture all those kids are in a line. That's usually not how it looks. But it's really, really been good. And what a lot of these kids that are in our program right now have not played select soccer before. A lot of them have not had individual or small group skills sessions before. We spent a lot of time with them week over week doing juggling and dribbling and that sort of thing. We noticed in our first session in August that some of these kids were only able to juggle, maybe get 4, 5, maybe 6 touches in the air before the ball hit the ground. We ran a winter session on Monday night this week, and we had kids getting up to 20 and the 30s. This is something where they've really, really improved a lot, and you can start to see it in the games as well. So you're starting to see kids when the ball is in the air, be able to bring it down with their foot. You're starting to see kids when they have a kid one-on-one in front of them, instead of trying to dribble the ball through the other kid's legs, they're starting to put moves on them, and they're starting to be able to get by them a little bit. It's really excited to see them have these new tools in their tool belt and finding ways to use them on the field. We don't always remember, but we're working on it. So some coaching expectations that we have right now. We're going to share this with y'all just so you can see it, even though it's maybe more for our coaches. We have a few folks that we're bringing into our program, and this is something that's sort of the expectation I've laid out as our director for them. So we are going to have high standards for our players and higher standards for ourselves. We are going to be judged on sportsmanship just as much as wins and losses. So if we have coaches or teams that are going around being jerks to other folks, we're going to get feedback on that, and coaches are not going to stay in our program if that's happening on a regular basis. We will always favor growth over wins. Winning is fun, but we aren't chasing trophies here. We are looking to do the right thing in the long term. We're a club that develops players, not recruits players as well. So we will recruit players, but we are not going to replace our kids. We are always going to focus on development first and developing the kids that we have where they're at. Because we focus on growth, we must focus on participation and inclusivity when possible. So for us, for me, right, the best U11 kid this year may not be the best U12 kid next year. We're always going to pour into every kid, not just the best players, to make sure that we find the right spots for everybody and give them a chance to grow. We will communicate with parents. We're working hard to make sure we give them notes previewing what the week will look like, notes recapping games, feedback on how things are going in practice, good, bad, and ugly. And we did have 2 or 3 of sessions like this where we made open to parents as well in the fall to give them feedback on how things are going as well. There was a few games, especially with one of our teams in particular, that were a little ugly at times this year. They grew, right, and they had a lot better games as the year went on. But we're not going to shy away from that. We're going to be able to have conversations about our growth as a program and our growth as a coach. Number 8's just a little specific one for me, kind of an old school soccer coach type of thing. We don't wear sunglasses when interacting with our players. We also are going to notice where we position the players, especially in those nighttime practices or those evening practices when the sun's going down. We want to make sure we're the ones squinting when the kids are talking, not them squinting at us. And our club may not be for everyone, and that's okay. But our expectations and our interactions apply to kids at other clubs as well. So if we are really big on complimenting the other kids when we're in lines with them at the end of the game. We're really big on making sure they have a spot to play. Not recruiting them just because, again, we think this is supposed to be fun. I'll talk a little bit more about financial assistance. So again, you can go to our website and see more of what we have offered right now. Now that we're viable as a club, now that we have something under our belts to try to move things forward, we're starting to reach out and do sponsorships in the community. We'll have a lot of announcements this winter, some grants coming in the spring that we're excited about as well. So in the fall of 2023, financial assistance covered 40% of the entire fees for Academy kids. So if you add up all the fees, right, that the Academy parents paid for their kids, they paid for 60% of the total fees. We covered the other 40. It was more like 20% for our select fees. Our goal in the future is to get this as close to 100% of Academy fees as possible and 50% of the select fees. So that might look a few different ways, right? But our goal would be that if you sign up as an Academy kid for us, that you're going to pay a very minimal, just enough money to make sure that you're committed to us. Maybe it's $50. And then select really work to overall to drive that price down for everybody, not just kids that need it financially, but really try to make sure that this is happening while still doing the high level coaching that we're trying to do. So you can see something on the right hand side here. This is something from a team in Scotland or England where these young kids are sort of sponsored by local businesses, and instead of those kids paying a big fee for this stuff, right, they're sponsored by those businesses, and it's really starting to reduce the pay-for-play model. You can see here's a sample 515 promotional material with my daughter Alice on it. We'd like to do the same thing for Academy, and we've started that activity right now. So by the way, if you know any businesses or folks that would like to sponsor us, would love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out. But the reason I'm sharing this is A, because I want you to know our long-term plans for the program, but B, to let you know that while I am going to show you what the fee is to be in our program this fall, the select fee likely won't change for the spring. Although if you do need something, let's talk. We are working actively to drive the academy fees down for the spring. If we get enough sponsors based on the amount of kids we have, we will be reducing the fee. We're going to be doing, if you do sign up for Academy, a $50 down payment. The worst case scenario is that you'll pay the full price if you aren't eligible for financial assistance. But we're hoping to have that price drop down and have sponsors in place to make sure that these 7, 8, 9-year-old kids aren't having to shell out a bunch of money, but are still getting a really high level experience and develop them as the future for our program. So here's our opportunities right now. On the Academy side, boys and girls full price is $245. This is comparable and lower than many of the clubs on this side of town. This will include the spring season, which we're going to start sessions as soon as we can in March, maybe indoors depending on the weather, but we're going to start sessions as soon as we can in March. Games will ramp up in April and we'll go through late May, early June. The games are on the weekends. Practices are 3 nights a week with high-level licensed professional coaches. And signing up, as soon as you sign up, you will also be eligible for joining our winter programs as well for no extra charge. So you get 2 sessions a week this winter, anything you're available to join our winter programs once you sign up. So that's again, worst case scenario, it's $245 if you do not have financial assistance coming your way. If for some reason this number is concerning to you, I would love to have a conversation. We are able to do some things, especially at this age group, because we want to get as many kids as we can into this program, and because frankly it's a lot of fun. We are doing some really exciting things there, and we saw a ton of growth for these kids last fall. And we do know that these kids are the future of our program. So please do reach out. We'd love to have you here, and love to talk more about it. On the select teams, we do have a few opportunities. So one of the things that we found last summer, once we established our teams all summer long, we had families reaching out saying, hey, I've got a boy that's 10 or 11 or 12, and maybe tried out, didn't find the right fit, or was going to play rec with his friends, but would really like something more competitive. And we were getting those messages even in October about, hey, is there something available this fall? We do have about a half of the boys team that's shown us interest so far. We're going to be recruiting all winter long for this. So we are hoping to form a team. This would be a select team. So these would be boys that did not play for another select program in the fall. Rec is fine. U11, U12, we can probably fit a kid with a 2011 birth date in there. I just can't fit a ton on there. And kind of be the first boys team in our program. We do have a couple of coaches lined up that will be joining us for this. They aren't here tonight, but I can tell you a little bit about them. They're super talented. Both have college experience. One of them has college coaching experience. Actually, I think both have college coaching experience. Relatively new to the Des Moines area and excited to get started with us. So I'm really excited to see what will happen there. As we form that team, if you are a parent on one of those boys teams, we'll talk a little bit about expectations, because it's a big change when you have a kid playing rec or playing select for the first time, especially if they're not a U11. But really excited to get started with that. We do have some room as well on our current girls team. So we have a U12 girls team that's made up of 2012 and 2013 birth dates. That team has room for maybe 1 or 2 more girls if you're interested. That team has really been the poster child on our team for what our model is. They've grown like crazy. They started their year off losing 10-0 to a local team here in Des Moines, and ended their year in Kansas City, darn near going to the finals of a tournament with teams from St. Louis and Kansas City, and really grew like crazy. That team right now does only have one goalkeeper on it. So if you do have a daughter that would be interested in playing some keeper, that would be a great team to get some reps on. And that team is still playing 99. So getting ready to start moving up to 11v11 next fall. We also do have a current girls team, U13, U14, made up of 2011 and 2010 birth dates. That team, a lot of great girls on it. That team has a lot of girls who are multi-sport athletes and really, really strong projects. Has been a little bit more difficult for them on the field just because there's been a little bit more of a learning curve. Some of those girls haven't played select. Most of those girls haven't played select soccer before, aside from one. So they're catching up a little bit more than the others, but we're seeing the growth. We're seeing the individual skills. There's a ton of opportunity here. If you've got a daughter that age group who would like to get competitive and you think that she can do it, there's a lot of chance for somebody to really make a dent here. The price for spring would be $420 if you want to join one of these teams. Again, financial assistance is available, and we can absolutely run through that with you as well. Practice would start early March or go through early June. Would have a full game schedule through the Iowa Soccer Select League and have at least 2 tournaments, one here locally and one out of town. Our philosophy of this program is in the fall, we go south at the end of the spring or at the end of the fall, so we stay a little warmer. In the spring, we're going to try to go north towards Memorial Day weekend so we can stay a little bit cooler, so probably going to be in the Twin Cities. And we may see, depending on how many kids we get, if we can sneak in a second local tournament as well. So you may even get 3 tournaments for that $420. I think it's a really good bargain. It includes the VO training as well, or the VO video sessions as well as again some professional coaches. So happy to chat more about that if y'all have any questions. With that, we do have in this slide deck, and I will share out with everybody who's interested. Some information about the formations that we run as soccer coaches here. So what you might see here and what your kids might be seeing if they come and join us. And we'll make sure we make that available for y'all as well. With that, I will open things up here for a couple minutes. My goal was to get done here in less than a half an hour. It looks like I accomplished that. So if anyone has any questions, the lines are open. Otherwise, we can wrap up and give you some time back.
Hey, Bo, it's Brandon Nordhook. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. The weather in Nebraska is beautiful as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Hey, I didn't know if there was more talk about opening up the team store to get more orders in or not, or what that looked like.
That's a great question. We are going to, so maybe for the new families, just so y'all know, right, we did go out and get some really nice but inexpensive Nike jerseys this fall, kind of this turquoise and purple you see on the screen here, and went pretty well. We had some Nike supply issues. As we get a little bit closer into the winter, Brandon, we're going to open up another store, both for jerseys as well as for gear. I'm probably going to try to shoot for January for that. But probably try to leave the uniforms open as long as we can as we develop these teams. So look for something probably in the January, February timeframe so that we get stuff in plenty of time for games. Hopefully a little bit sooner than games. So if you're an academy parent, we had some problems there, but that'll be the plan.
Thank you, sir.
You betcha. Any other questions? All righty. Well, y'all know how to get a hold of me if you need anything. So again, info@515soccer.org. Feel free to message us on Facebook as well. Myself, Kevin Connell, a couple other folks have access to that. Thank you all for taking the time tonight. We will be posting the video of this on YouTube in case you have other folks you want to share it with. And the final request for y'all is, again, if you have friends, family, kids playing with kids at soccer at school, whatever, we are recruiting like crazy right now. So if you think this might be something you're interested in and one of your kids' friends are interested in, we'd love to have them. Feel free to share this video with them, and we will welcome as many kids as we get in our program. So thank you all, and have a happy Thanksgiving.